Welcome to our today's story on how you will deal with your enemy without harming yourself. Once upon a time in a peaceful village nestled in a lush valley, there lived a wise old woman named Eliza. She was renowned not for her wealth or strength, but for her extraordinary ability to deal with those who had harmed her or others in the most remarkable ways. One sunny morning, as the villagers gathered at the central square, they heard a commotion. A young man named Tobias had been spreading false rumors about Eliza, tarnishing her reputation. He had hurt her deeply, and the whole village was buzzing with gossip. People expected Eliza to react angrily, but she had a reputation for handling such situations with grace. Eliza, undeterred by the slanderous rumors, decided to address the issue in her own unique way. She invited Tobias to her humble cottage for tea. Surprised by her invitation, he reluctantly accepted, curious about what she might say. As they sat in Eliza's cozy cottage, the aroma of chamomile tea filled the room. Eliza poured them each a cup and began to speak softly. "Tobias, I heard about the rumors you've been spreading. It has caused me pain, but I believe that every situation offers an opportunity to learn and grow." Tobias looked down, feeling a pang of guilt. He had expected anger, not this gentle approach. Eliza continued, "I want to understand why you felt the need to harm me in this way. Maybe there's something we can learn from this situation together." Tobias hesitated but eventually opened up about his insecurities and envy, which had driven him to spread those rumors. Eliza listened empathetically, never judging or scolding him. Over the course of several meetings, Tobias and Eliza developed a deep bond. Eliza shared her wisdom and taught Tobias about empathy, forgiveness, and the power of self-improvement. Tobias, in turn, apologized to the villagers and made amends for the harm he had caused. Word of Eliza's remarkable ability to transform adversity into an opportunity for growth and connection spread throughout the village. People began seeking her guidance not only for dealing with enemies but also for resolving conflicts and misunderstandings in their own lives. One day, a neighboring village launched a legal dispute over land boundaries with Eliza's village. Tensions ran high, and it seemed like a conflict that could escalate into violence. Eliza, ever the peacemaker, stepped forward to mediate the dispute. She invited the leaders of both villages to a meeting under the ancient oak tree that marked the disputed border. There, she began by listening to each side's grievances and concerns, ensuring that everyone felt heard. She then facilitated a dialogue, encouraging both sides to see the situation from the other's perspective. Through her patient mediation and wise counsel, Eliza helped the two villages come to a mutually beneficial agreement. They not only resolved their dispute peacefully but also forged a bond of cooperation and friendship that lasted for generations. Eliza's reputation as a master of conflict resolution and reconciliation continued to grow. People from distant lands came to seek her counsel. She taught them that violence and revenge were never the answer and that there was always a path to understanding and reconciliation. One day, a notorious bandit named Roderick arrived in the village, seeking refuge after being wounded in a skirmish with the law. His reputation was fearsome, and the villagers were understandably afraid. However, Eliza saw an opportunity to transform even this dangerous situation. Instead of turning him away or alerting the authorities, Eliza took Roderick in. She tended to his wounds, listened to his stories of hardship and desperation, and shared her wisdom about the consequences of his actions. Roderick, who had never experienced kindness and understanding before, was deeply moved by her compassion. Over time, Roderick renounced his life of crime and became a protector of the village. He used his knowledge of the criminal underworld to keep the village safe from outside threats. The villagers, once fearful of him, now regarded him as a hero. Eliza's legacy continued to flourish, and her teachings spread far and wide. She showed the world that dealing with those who harm you didn't always require retaliation or punishment. Her approach of empathy, forgiveness, and transformation not only changed individual lives but also created a ripple effect of peace and understanding throughout the land. In the end, Eliza's village became known not for its riches or military might, but for its wisdom, compassion, and ability to turn enemies into friends. And so, the village thrived, embodying the timeless lesson that love and understanding had the power to conquer hatred and harm. As Eliza's reputation continued to grow, her village became a beacon of peace and wisdom in a turbulent world. People came from far and wide to seek her counsel, and she graciously shared her knowledge with all who sought it. Her teachings were simple yet profound: treat others with kindness, seek understanding, and transform conflicts into opportunities for growth. One day, a great war threatened the neighboring kingdoms. It was a conflict born of long-standing grievances and fueled by the desire for power and conquest. The village, once again, found itself in a precarious position, as it was located near the borders of the warring kingdoms. Leaders from both sides approached Eliza, hoping that her wisdom could help prevent the impending catastrophe. They gathered under the same ancient oak tree where she had once mediated a land dispute. Eliza listened to their grievances, their fears, and their ambitions. With great patience, she reminded them of the lessons she had learned and shared throughout her life. She spoke of the futility of war, the suffering it would cause, and the opportunity for peace that lay before them. Her words, as always, were filled with empathy and understanding. Miraculously, the leaders agreed to a ceasefire and began negotiations. Eliza continued to mediate, helping both sides find common ground and solutions that would bring lasting peace. Her reputation as a peacemaker and a wise advisor spread even further, and her village became a symbol of hope in a world torn by conflict. Years passed, and the neighboring kingdoms not only maintained peace but also formed alliances for mutual benefit. The village thrived, becoming a hub of trade, culture, and learning. Eliza's teachings were now known far and wide, and her influence extended beyond the borders of her village. Eliza eventually passed away, leaving behind a legacy of peace, compassion, and wisdom. Her village continued to uphold her principles, and generations of its inhabitants carried on her work. They resolved conflicts, healed wounds, and turned enemies into friends, just as Eliza had done. In time, other villages and communities adopted similar principles, inspired by the remarkable story of Eliza and her village. The world slowly began to change, as people realized that there were better ways to deal with those who harmed them than retaliation or violence. And so, the story of Eliza and her village became a timeless tale of the power of love, understanding, and transformation. It showed that even in the face of harm and adversity, there was always a path to peace and reconciliation, and that the greatest strength of all lay in the human capacity for empathy and forgiveness. Eliza's legacy lived on, a shining example of how one person's wisdom and compassion could change the course of history and bring light to a world often overshadowed by darkness.